You've probably noticed at your local riding spot that the ratio of e-bikes to non-e-bikes is getting stronger. I'd say some days in the UK it can feel like it's 50-50 now. E-bikes are definitely becoming more desirable. Just look at the paint on this one. You might be on the fence about whether your next bike is going to be assisted or not. Well, today I'm going to be taking a look at two top-of-the-line bikes, an e-bike versus its naturally aspirated cousin, to see which is more desirable. What is a superbike? Well, I think a bit like a supercar. It's the highest end, most fanciest tech, best materials, and this is the Giant Trance Advanced E+ Elite, a bike that Steve Jones has taken a really good look at, and arguably, I think this is an e-superbike. All right, come with me, let's take a look at the top 6 things that make this Trance Elite a superbike. A fully carbon fibre frame with Giant's Maestro suspension linkage and possibly the best paint job I've ever seen. SRAM axis electronic wireless shifting gears. Zip Moto carbon fibre wheel set with that ankle flex technology to make them more compliant, and TireWiz electronic wireless pressure gauges. Fox Live Valve electronically controlled suspension damping that has sensors over the bike that knows what you and the train's doing and adjusts your suspension damping accordingly. There's the brain, and it's powered by your e-bike battery. The Contact SLR one-piece carbon fibre bar and stem with adjustable stem length and bar roll that weighs just 255 grams. Okay, so that's all the necessary accessories you need for a superbike, but it's the e-bike system that makes this an e-superbike. Because this can be a full power 85 Nm torque machine or a lightweight epic trail bike. Or about 100 different options in between. The power is in your hands, quite literally. Because my phone is in my hands. Do you get it? Power in my hands. And it's what you can do within Giant's Ride Control app that completely changes the performance and the personalities of this bike. So whilst this bike sits directly in that lightweight category, it's only 18.8 kilograms for the medium-sized bike. That's all down to that Energy Pack 400 battery cell technology, basically half the weight of the last one. It's really in the software where this bike differentiates itself. So for each of the 5 power settings on the bike, from eco up to power, you can choose just how much support you have, but really interestingly, how much torque you have, from 20 Newton meters right up to 85, but also how quickly you get that torque, from controlled or up to getting it aggressive in mere milliseconds, you get the full torque. And that's what makes this bike unique. You can choose to have the low assist and low torque and have a mile muncher, or get the full power, full 85 Newton meters for a full power e-bike with that lightweight. If you're a bit like me and you don't want to be getting your phone out all the time to change your bike, then you can do all those settings in the app and then just switch between the modes on your handlebar. But how does the Trance E Elite compare to a mountain bike? Well, this is the Giant Trance Advanced 29er. This one came first. It shares a load of the same stuff, carbon fibre frame, that Maestro suspension linkage that Giant are famous for, and it's even got that flip chip on there so you can change the geometry from low and slack to higher and steeper, better for climbing. But it is also where we do start to see some geometry differences. So this bike is a Trance, which means it's 120mm rear travel, 130 up front, compared to e-bike, which is a Trance X. So it has 140 rear, 150 up front, longer travel, and therefore the head angles do change slightly. This is slightly steeper bike. Also, this is full 29er all round, whereas the e-bike is 27.5 rear wheel, 29 up front. So some differences, but actually when it comes down to geometry, like the reach, really similar, 480 for large, seat tube angle around 76. But actually a really interesting difference is the chainstay length. So on the Trance mountain bike, it's a 437, but on the Trance X e-bike, it's actually 10 mil longer. And with that weight of the battery and the motor down there as well, and the power you get, it does give it the ability to get up some pretty punchy climbs compared to this bike. When it comes to climbing on a mountain bike, of course, how fast you go and how many meters of elevation you do is kind of limited to how fit you are. And if you are on the fitter side of things, then I do think climbing can be satisfying and almost fun. But when it comes to the steep and the tech stuff, you do reach a limit on the mountain bike of what is rideable, and it doesn't really come down to your fitness that much. But with an e-bike, particularly with full power, full torque engaged, it becomes something that isn't all about the power. You've got that now, and you can do some really fun and challenging techie climbs. Whilst the Energy Pack 400 battery only weighs 2.3 kilograms, the e-bike still weighs about 7 kilograms more than the mountain bike. So how's that going to feel on the single track? There's no doubt that on really fast, flowy single track, the mountain bike can feel really nimble, and actually sometimes a bit faster. This bit of track here is actually really fast as well. So on an e-bike, you do hit that speed limiter, and on a full fat bike, that can really feel like a brick wall. This bike is still lightweight, so you can pedal over the top of the limit, but it's not exactly where it shines, I would say. But again, a bit like the techie climbs, you might find that you want to ride different stuff on your e-bike to get the best out of it. Something like gnarly downhills. I really do like riding e-bikes on steeper, gnarly descents. The extra weight is good for carrying momentum through the bumps, but also suspension works really well. This live valve is doing a great job of opening itself up on descents and then firming itself back up to climb back up without me having to touch a dial. So yeah, maybe not as nimble on the fast stuff, but on the bigger, rougher downhills that I like to do, then it maybe does suit. So what do you think about these lightweight e-bikes? I do like a lightweight e-bike. I'm not fussed about extra power, extra torque. Most of the time, I use a bike like this for just getting more descending. So I don't have to get the top hill really fast. I've just got the extra boost to get up there. Then it's all about descending time. I love the lightweight bike for that. But obviously this bike is tunable, it's super versatile. You might ride a bike like that most of the time and then have, you know, set up so you've got your boost at the top for the most power, the most torque, for getting up maybe some super tech climbs, and then most of the time you ride it back down in the lower power, lower torque. What do you think? Is a tunable e-bike like this the future of e-bikes? And does a bike like this trump a mountain bike every day of the week?